Hello, everybody. This is Stevian Heartbound on the internet live for the first time. I'm the author of the DCAG project, and I do a lot of art, mainly abstract, but sometimes I'll doodle on just paper, and I try to do all sorts of things. I want to go into sculpting and more woodcraft, but for now, I think we're going to start with streaming. I think that's the next thing. So to get the first thing out of the way, you can probably tell I don't. The person and the voice don't really match. I'm severely deaf, which means I can't really tell what sounds good and what's not. So hopefully this all works out for the best. Uh, Deaf people kind of have a stereotype for being rude, and I'm really no exception to that. So if you don't mind somebody that's a little bit of a bully online, then I'm probably a good watch for you. As you can tell, these stream cards are a little bit simple. I figured we'd just start simple all around. And I think it's good because everyone's doing really fancy stream cards and they're really putting tons and tons of effort into everything. So this should be new and fresh just because it's different from what everyone's doing. So I've been in the library for the last 10 years and I haven't really used my voice at all. I've been trying to study the afterlife. Some people prefer to go through, you know, go all over the world, explore everything else. I decided to go into books and see what history was like and everything like that. One second. I know, isn't that right, chat? Right? Right? Come on, pop up. Yeah, it's very interesting. Yeah, that's why I have this stream private at first. If you're watching this, it's going to be a video after the fact because I wanted to do silly stuff like that. And I think I might get shy if somebody joined while I was doing all this. So, to add a little bit of levity to this, I found out about streaming 2 years ago. I was literally in the library for the last decade or so, and I don't talk very much. I don't use my voice at all. I don't really have a chance to talk. When you can't hear what anyone else is saying to you, then there's no reason to respond back. And I like to talk. I'm deaf, but I'm not a mute. But I never get a chance to. So hopefully, the more I do this, the stronger my voice will get, and I won't have to eat the microphone just to be heard. But for now, this is what we have to deal with because I don't want my voice to go out. It's not going to go out. So, 2 years ago, I saw all these people doing all this fun streaming stuff, and for the first year or so, I was enthralled by it, and I was just like, "Wow, must be really complicated. This is pretty intense. There's so much going on. There's a lot of high energy to it." But then after that first year, I sat back and I was like, "Well, let's actually figure out how they're doing it." So I started looking more at the details on how to put this all together. I'm using OBS right now, and eventually you've either got to put your foot in the water or just stay on the beach. So I decided to take a dip. So let's talk about books. The TCAG project is my pride and joy. I work on it about an hour every day. Sometimes I have to end up deleting pages. Sometimes I have to edit. It's not a just straightforward process. But something I plan to be working on until I expire, which who knows when that'll be. 30 years of books. Let's go for it. But as I said at the very beginning, I do want to go into other arts and crafts. So this is going to be another notch in my belt rather than a final coup de grace, so to speak. But I actually got into not streaming, but I got into all of this because I wanted to go back to Japan. When I was about 2 years old, 1 years old, I had to go to Japan because my family was a military family, and that's just kind of part and parcel of what it is. So I went over with my family over to Japan so my dad could serve in the Marines, which he's very proud of that, and I'm proud of him for it. But we lived off base, which means from about 2 to 6 years old, I was living among the Japanese, which I had tons and tons of pleasant experiences with the Japanese people. I could understand them to a degree. And I didn't know Japanese was called Japanese for the longest time. I called it the desu, which is, so you would be, if you were speaking Japanese, I'd say you were the speaker of the desu. Because at the end of every sentence, it seemed like they'd say desu. So I thought that was like, it made more sense to a young child. But, you know, it just is what it is. So that's how I got my name, my artist name, Stevian Heartbound, is because my actual name sounds like something you would throw away, discard, or abandon. So by changing the letters of my name, they gave me a more pleasant name that doesn't really mean anything. That has the alternative now. In English, it sounds like stevia, which is like a plant or something like that, which is not really nearly as bad as being abandoned or thrown away, but it's still kind of annoying. But yeah, so I went to like kindergarten and stuff. My dad was actually real busy with the Japanese as far as outreach. So I would be going to orphanages and stuff and playing with little Japanese children and just being a kid. The only difference was I was among people that I didn't know I was never going to see again at that point. I was just like, okay, this is normal life. This is just the way it is. So eventually my dad was going to go back to America, and I was going to go back with him. I had a little brother that was born in Japan, and life as I knew it was about to be uprooted. And I come from a bunch of farmers and preachers, and it's kind of helped me pick my religious base on my future writings. And like them, I'm officially a deist, but I've also been looking into the Titans, and they're really hard to find knowledge on. And then you have places like the Vatican that most of their work is in Latin, I think, Old Latin. But either way, it's just trying to learn Japanese and all this research. It's going to be a lifelong effort. There's no way I'm going to be able to do this, as it is. I'm going to need help at some point. But so I was growing up, and I didn't really realize I was deaf yet. I knew I had to go to special ed classes because when I got back over to America, I couldn't do the R sound or the L sound. So I had to go to speech classes for that. And as far as I knew, I would see the Japanese again. And I thought, there would be somebody at some point that would know what I was talking about when I said, hey, do you know about the desu? Because that's what I would say instead of the Japanese. Nobody knew what that was. If I had have known back when I was younger, hey, do you know about the Japanese? Maybe that would have helped. But that's not what happened. So, I went through high school and stuff, and you would run into people called weeaboos, which was the biggest red herring ever, because I was somebody. They were people that enjoy Japanese culture. They watch cartoons and stuff like that. And so I was like, okay, they're into this. Do they know somebody? Do they know somebody I can get a hold of? Do they know anybody from the area I grew up in? And no, they didn't. They just like the cartoons. And that's okay. But for somebody like me, that was such a pain in the butt. So about when I turned 18, I kind of realized Japanese weren't coming back. A little bit sooner than that. I grew up with Nintendo. I really enjoyed playing Nintendo games. I liked when I beat a game, I saw all these Japanese names. I was like, this is kind of like a really, really vague way of connecting with them. But, that's all I had. That's just the way it was. So now comes I'm getting ready to graduate high school. I've gone through all the special ed classes. I passed with a high school diploma. Is not hard to get. No matter what classes you take, a diploma is a diploma. So that's why I find it funny when people say I'm smart. I was a special ed kid because I couldn't hear very well. Maybe I'm smart, maybe I'm not. I don't know. I just kind of had to figure things out on my own. So here's the thing. This is a birth defect. I've never been above severe hearing. I don't know what I can't hear. I just don't have eardrums in this year. It's a birth defect from in Camp Lejeune. Because when I was born in Camp Lejeune, and it's like 35. So I'm 36 now. So about 35 and a little bit ago. At the time of this recording, I'm 36. But where am I going with this? Okay, so reset. This is important because I wanted to go into the Navy so I can go back to Japan and see where I grew up. The Armed Forces do not take deaf people. And this is kind of annoying because that means I couldn't go to college using the military. And to put this in perspective, I have military family that goes all the way back to Britain, like long line of military people, and I think I'm the first one to break the trend. So 500 years of soldiers, and I'm the first one to break it, and I had no choice about it. Looking at the military now, that may not have been the worst thing that happened, because it was giving me a lot of time to research. But I was thinking maybe I could do that on a boat, because I wanted to be a cargo pilot. Now, the funny thing about being severely deaf, as opposed to profoundly deaf, where you can't hear at all, is as far as the government is concerned, you're fine. I'm not a mute. I can do things as is. But I wanted to be a cargo pilot and just fly from island to island and deliver packages. Now, that means I wanted to go to aviation school. They won't let you fly a plane if you can't hear very well. So you go, okay, I want to join the Navy. We can't take you. You can't hear. Okay, why do I need to listen to orders to pilot something? Just let me do some menial job so I can go overseas. No, we can't do that. Okay, so I'll be a pilot. You can't do that if you can't hear. Okay, so do I get some sort of benefits from the government because I can't hear? No, you're fine. You're absolutely fine. You're perfectly healthy. Okay, can I be a pilot or go into the Navy? No, you can't do that. I have a severe hatred for all of that nonsense. But, okay, so we're back over in America. And my dad has bought a dog for us. He wants us to have fun and really enjoy America. That's the world he enlisted to defend. Well, about 7 years old, I have my dog. It's a lovely Chow Chow. And somebody shot it. And I decided, upon seeing a giant hole in my dog, I don't like this place. I want to go back to Japan. So, all going throughout school, I'm just playing my Nintendo. I'm just like, I don't like these people. They say I can't speak properly. They shot my dog. I'm not very happy here. So, when it comes to the series like To Kill a God, this wonderful world that they're all painting, I'm not really keen on it. And I'm still really not. I read about people arguing online all day. You're not doing yourself any favors. But that's just kind of what you're dealing with. So, all growing up, I played games a lot growing up. But when I got out of high school, I kind of dipped into the library and I just started studying, trying to figure all this stuff out, religion-wise and everything like that. And I stopped playing video games. So that was okay when the libraries were open and I could talk to people that were fans and, kind of tell them my story and, get to know people. Because despite how I probably sound now, I'm a lot more personable than you'd think. For being a deaf person, I was pretty popular with, the girls in school. You hear people saying they've never had a girlfriend. Just talk to somebody. I promise you, it's fun. I haven't found anybody worth dating in like a decade because I only date people if I think, maybe I can marry this person. But that's just not happening. And now I think I'm a little bit too old for it, so I might as well just go full monk mode, right? Who knows? People get married at 40. I don't know. I'm not giving up, but I also don't want to stop studying and doing art. I really enjoy what I do. But now the libraries are closed, so how do you connect with your fans? You, I guess you have to do something like this. You have to stream, play a video game everyone likes, just enjoy the day. I think it's a good time. So this may be an excuse to just put down the typewriter, so to speak, and play more games again. Because I think I do need to relax a little bit, and being able to talk to people that are fans of my works, or just new people that just want to see me play a video game, I think that'd be a good time. I will have to wear headphones because I don't want the audio to get messed up. I'm going to have to chew on my microphone until my voice gets stronger because I haven't talked in like a decade, but that's okay. So it's an easy way to connect with fans. So people that are fans of the books that will come across here, none of this will be new to you, but for the new people, my fans are called Hearties. So avast me Hearties. We're going on a sail through the reading world, and we're going to have a lot of fun. So to start out, I'm going to do popular games that are like Minecraft, Oxygen Not Included, Don't Starve. Stardew Valley is a good one. I really enjoy Stardew Valley, but I haven't played it in a long time, so there's probably a lot of patches and stuff that I haven't gotten to see. I'm going to Terraria I want to do too, because I had to stop at like normal mode because I was like, okay, I need to work, but now this is an excuse to play and work at the same time. How's that for a special education person? I can multitask. Ha. But if this does pick up as something that people really enjoy listening to me do, I'll play more games in the future. Anything really. I do like old RPGs that require the games that will require like high processing. Like most of the games I'm gonna play now are going to be 2D games that aren't really challenging for my computer. It's a gaming computer. It has a lot of power behind it, but for high power streams, you need like really good internet connection, and mine is like 10, but this requires like 5, so we should be more than fine for what I'm planning to do. How often I want to do this? I do work full time, so I will be doing this maybe an hour or two play sessions so I can have time to do other work. Because if you haven't been able to tell, I work full time. I work on my books. I work on paintings that you have seen on the entry there. And then I had to work on anything else. I've got games out pretty much entirely. When I was watching these streams, I would just watch them and then I'd just work. And, they'd be streaming for donations and money and, it's all this business stuff. They'd be selling merchandise. And not only did I not really hear half of it, I'd be off doing my own thing. So it was kind of disrespectful of them, I think. But I had to get things done. Didn't really have a whole lot of choice behind it. And now that I'm going to do streaming, I just ripped off the Band-Aid and I just said, I've got to get things done. I'm not really that much of a follower, I guess. I kind of always have to do my own thing. Like even when I did play games, in person, I'd always have to be the raid leader or something like that, or the guild leader, because I can give the orders to kill a boss or something on microphone with no problem, but hearing somebody else do it, it's not going to happen. So every time I had to play a game, I had to know all the bosses by heart. I had to memorize everything, and I'd have to give the orders. And if somebody had a question, I had to have somebody else answer for me because I couldn't do it. I just can't hear very well. So this stream setup where people are responding to you in text and you're talking to them with your voice, that is an amazing setup for a deaf person. And that's another reason I think this is the right path to go on. So let's talk a little bit more about me. What do I like? I'm a little bit older than, if you can't tell by the hair missing here, I'm in my or middle 30s, I guess you'd say. But I like things like the Three Stooges. I like kind of the older forums like Newgrounds. I like You're the Man Now Dog. Albino Black Sheep was a really good thing I liked for a while. They had the Demented cartoon movie I was a big fan of. And just pretty much what most people would consider the older internet. I used to really like the old turn-based games like Command & Conquer, Lords of Magic, Majesty, kind of the old, pretty much anything that people would say retro, or things I just enjoy naturally. To me, they're just games I played when I was a little bit younger. Like, I really enjoy Super Nintendo games. I have a huge cart of like 300 Nintendo games, which if I can figure out how to put a capture card on, I'm just set for ages. Like, me playing Ultima Online or EverQuest on here, just that'll keep me hundreds of hours of stuff just to entertain myself with and just talk at people. That'd be easy. But this beginning stuff, I'm going to be starting like 8 different games, just starting areas, or I'm just going to be showing off stuff that I built in the past. Because people like to play Minecraft. I played Minecraft since alpha, and I have some really old worlds where I can just show you stuff that I've built over the years. People like to play Terraria. I've lost my old worlds on that one, but I've never beaten past hard mode. So anything past the Wall of Flesh is just new to me. Some games I'll be playing like Grim Dawn. I don't have the DLCs for that game, but I like the basic game. So I might do Nightmare of that one. The sky's the limit. I really don't care what kind of games. I used to be really big into donating into charity. So I have a whole bunch of humble bundle games, which I have never ever played, which I should be able to get them to work on the stream system. I don't see why I wouldn't. I couldn't get Lords of Magic to work, but I think that's because I'm going to need a second monitor. It's just an older game. Like, if I can get SimTower to work, I'd really enjoy playing SimCity or SimAnt or SimTower. But I think I'm going to have to really fidget with stuff like that. I don't mind paying a little bit of extra money too, because that's just fun. I like the older games. A lot of the new games like Apex and stuff like that, there's just a whole lot of visual noise, and people want to talk to you on TeamSpeak or Discord. That's not going to work for a deaf person. It never has. When people wanted to use Ventrilo back in the EverQuest days, I was just like, well, let's just keep talking in text. And it's for obvious reasons. But that's just the way it is. Any game that doesn't require voice chat is great. When you start talking about voice chat or stuff like that, you lose me. Now, let's talk a little bit more about deafness. If it's a quiet room like I have right now, and you say something, I can probably hear you. If you have a TV going and you talk to me, the noise gets clumped together. I don't have directional hearing. I don't have a way to dissect what's being said. It all comes in the same ear. And I just kind of have, over the years, I've just kind of been able to suss out, just from the pitch of, who's saying what to me. But it's still a struggle. I have to stop what I'm doing. I have to focus on you. And when I'm trying to play a game or do something else or write, I don't want to focus on you. I want to do what I'm doing. And it makes conversation kind of a pain in the butt, because me with having this really low voice where I have to chomp on the microphone just to make sure people can hear me. And so they're going to be saying, what did he say? And I'm going to be just trying to decipher what they're saying instead of asking them over and over, because that doesn't work. Also, don't yell at deaf people. That makes it harder to figure out what you're trying to say. Yeah. fun challenges, which you are going to experience the more you watch my streams, which I do hope you enjoy. I'm doing these for the purpose of entertaining you and, to strengthen my own voice so I can actually talk. Get these vocal cords above a whisper. As well, some people may like this whisper voice. I do need a stronger voice. But let's talk about things I like more. Everything retro is really good. I've liked Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings in middle school. My first book that I read was The Hobbit. I had no idea Lord of the Rings was going to be a big thing nowadays. I was just like, wow, this is a great book. I love Tolkien's work. I really liked reading Animorphs. I really liked reading Goosebumps. And I'd pretty much read the entire library if you gave me a chance. I used to read encyclopedias just because I liked reading. My world as a deaf person is reading. I like reading, so I know I'm going to love a reading chat. It doesn't matter what you say. It's going to have the same benefit to me as listening to somebody actually talk to me. It's glorious. I love saying that, wow, that's interesting. And after the streams, we'll have heart-to-heart bounds. And, I'll just talk to you guys for a bit. I think that'll be fun. But some of the things I don't like. Cows. When I was young, we'd be driving through the fields and we would hear a cow. And it would make me start crying. I hated that sound. I still don't like the way cows sound. I'll eat beef, I'm not a vegetarian by any stretch of the imagination. But when you go to play with a cow, I guess you'd say, they're really big and dopey. They're strong, and they weigh a lot, and they make an awful noise. Now, horses are fine. You just approach them from the front. Don't make any sudden movements. Usually you have somebody there to saddle them up, and you can do ride around with it. Have somebody lead the horses. You only have to steer the horse. You just chill out and you just walk with the horse. The lead horse with the rancher just does everything for you, and that's fun. I enjoy that. But cows are a bit too derpy for my taste. So how would I solve the world? I've been studying everything for like 10 years. The world needs jesters. If you take every single world government and you add somebody in the jester position like they had in the Middle Ages, add like an actual fool to every union and stuff like that, everything would be fixed. Everyone is so sensitive about getting made fun of. That's not how Europe works. We had fools for a reason. We are very stodgy. We need the jester. That is what's missing. Every time something goes wrong, you're not allowed to criticize it. You need the jester. That's how you fix all the world's problems. I'm serious. So, a lot of these streamers do this for money. They do it for donations. They have all these things set up, followers and stuff like that. If you want to support what I do, just buy my books. I have them for sale on Amazon. Just check out the TCAG Project. Look on Twitter for the TCAG Project. I'll link it into the description after the video, so you can look at it there. But I think it's kind of in poor taste to have something like my books available for like $3 and then asking for a $5 donation. No, just buy the book. That'll tell the Amazon algorithm that, hey, this person, people are liking his stuff. Great. Go get it. More people like this. Look what people are buying. That will help me far, far more than a $5 donation or whatever. So we're not going to have donations on this channel. If we get popular enough to where YouTube, wants to make memberships and stuff like that, I'll enable it. But the primary way I want to be supported is through my books and my art, because I've worked really hard on that. And a donation for $5 is kind of a smack in the face compared to just spending $3 on something I've worked hard on. So, we've gone on about 30 minutes. I think this is a good introduction. I'm really just looking forward to playing games and just spending time with people that wander by. I think that's going to be the main gift of all of this. Just playing games that really talented people have created. I won't be able to enjoy the music very much. I'm going to set it up. I'm probably going to I'm definitely going to wear headphones and set it up to where you guys can enjoy the music. I normally don't play my games with music, so this is going to be a bit of a growing pain for me, but that's fine. I'm definitely going to be watching my volume to make sure that I'm hearable, and that'll just improve over time. Eventually, one day I might be able to actually lean back and narrate things as they're happening and kind of give my thoughts on the what's going on with less focus. But for now, we work with what we have. And yeah, just want everyone to have fun. So if you are worried about, you see the DCAG project and you're like, well, this is kind of I don't think I like that. It's kind of making fun of religion. My books don't make fun of religion. I take what they offer and I teach about it, kind of following the rest of the preachers in my family. But I do it in a way that's enough to poke you, but it's not enough to question your faith. I'm not trying to challenge your faith. You may even find your faith strengthened by reading my books. That'd be fantastic. That's a wonderful outcome. If you like to talk about religion and stuff, I love it personally. The internet's gotten really restrictive over the last decade. I think any author or artist that likes that is not really an artist, because nobody likes, if you're creative, being told you can or cannot do something is never going to be okay. So obviously I'm going to be against whoever or whatever restricts things, and I'm going to be welcoming things that leave things open for my own creative needs. So that I can kind of tell you where I'm at on all of those issues. Also, return the jester. If you can't make fun of somebody, that's not European. So that's another thing too. Going to Japan, they are very group oriented. They don't like to be made fun of. I don't mind playing the role of jester. I tend to make fun of people. That's going to be an issue at some point, because I'm going to get back over there and I'm going to be like, well, let's make fun of things. That's not going to be something they're going to be okay with. So I kind of had to keep, this is the whole game of give and take. I'm going to do my best. I've been working on this since I'm 21. So we're going about 15 years of creating art and stuff like that to get to the point to be like, hey, let me stay over for 5 years so I can see my old home and see how life has changed. Because I think they tear down buildings every 20, 30 years. So I don't think my childhood home is even going to be there anymore. But I still want to see the place where I grew up. I still want to see the old bear bases, which is going to require clearance, which will need to be able to make a living, which this another way streaming could possibly add on to. If this somehow turns out big and I can make a living off streaming, well, great, I can go home comfortably and see this world that I grew up with as a child and see what's different and give my thoughts on it. Because going to see my old childhood home and going to see the military bases where I grew up, that doesn't necessarily involve the Japanese people themselves, but it does involve Japan, because they're obviously going to say you can or cannot come over here. However, on the flip side of that, you have different visas you can go on. One of those is a spousal visa, but I don't date out, and so I'm not going to be able to pick up a Japanese woman at any point due to my own morals, because I don't think that'd be the right thing to do. Oh, I want to marry you just because I want to go overseas. That rubs me the wrong way. If I marry somebody, it's going to be out of love. I'm going to date somebody I want to marry. I want to do the right thing. I don't want to have kids out of wedlock. Even though it seems like at first glance I might be really against religion, no, I come from a very religious families, but I myself, well, they're really specific on what they believe. I decided I'd just be deist. Like, my mother's a Seventh-day Adventist. And they believe the Sabbath is on Saturday. And my dad's a Baptist, and he believes, the holy days on Sunday, like most of them do. As a child, I thought that meant I'd have a weekend off of school. I got 2 days off to rest instead of 1 day. But it turns out every child got 2 days off for school. And that kind of blew my mind. Like, is everybody like me? No, just everybody gets 2 days off of school. You go to school 5 days a week. And it just, like, things like that, it just took me a little bit longer to grasp than, somebody that would just grow up here. I would often inject, like, Japanese stuff that I learned as a kid into, school stuff. But, that never worked out. Stuff I learned in video games, because even though they were localized for English people or American people or whatever you want to call it, there's still a lot of Japanese art and mannerisms you could see in these games. Like, the characters were really emotive, and they'd say stuff that would be translated easier. But yeah, I grew up pretty much thinking I was Japanese in a world that had no idea what I was talking about. It made me very strange. It made me attractive to some people, when I had more hair. But I always came off as a bit strange, and being deaf didn't help that. So you've got a rude deaf person, the stereotype, which is true. That was from Japan, a very polite society. You have a Westerner that's writing the TCAG project to go over to the Eastern people that don't really care about religion at all. They're more Buddhist, they're more Zen. There's a different system over there. So what I write here isn't heresy to them. But if I write something about their stuff, I better know what I'm talking about, because I don't want to make them mad. But at the same time, I'm really not aiming to make the people over here mad either. I'm just trying to put together the afterlife. But at the same time, I'm really frustrated it's taken me so long to do all of this. It's really hard to ask for help when you can't hear very well, because most of the time people will say this, well, call this number, well, do this. If you write an email to somebody, they'll want to call you back. They want to talk. I can't do that very well. If I could do that, then it's a complete bother. But that's okay. We've made it this far. I think, I'm working a full-time job. I've got my arts going. Nothing's standing in my way. But we still have a lot to do. And I think I'm in a pretty good position to do it. I was a little bit worried at first about doing this. I was like, well, I'm kind of going bald, what do people think I'm ugly? And then I thought about that for a bit, and I was like, I'm a man that's going to be 40 before I realize it. Who cares? This is kind of the stuff I was thinking about before I started all this mess. But we're about 40 minutes into this recording now, and I will ramble. I will ramble for hours, and you will see that firsthand. But for now, this is just the introduction. So I want you all to have a wonderful day. Thank you for listening to the introduction to the streaming world. I do intend to stream a lot, and I think we're going to have a good time. So hopefully you found some of my stories funny or interesting. But I have a lot more to share. I have a lot of life experience. Hopefully I'll be able to answer any questions anyone has. In the last years I was in the library, I missed out on a whole lot of the social stuff. I wasn't online very often. So I probably come off as somebody that's 10 years in the past. I don't know about all that MySpace, Twitter stuff. It's just a new world. But I'm kind of really old and codgery and stuck in my ways. And if somebody tells me about the way things are now, it doesn't matter. I'm deaf. So just let me exist in my little bubble. I'm sure I'll pop up myself sooner than later. But that's just the way it is. So again, thank you for watching, my dear hearties. I will miss you, and I hope I'll see you again sooner than later. So, really, enjoy yourself. Have a good day. I'll miss you. Bye-bye.